Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms. And these are Charter Moms Chats where we go live to talk to experts about ways for families to help their kids get a great education. So often we talk about schools that families can choose, but this month we're talking about a lot of enrichment activities that families can do with their kids. And this week we're focusing on arts enrichment. And so we have two special guests. So Luis Cardenas is the founder of the AM Project, and he's a repeat guest on Charter Moms Chats. We did a profile about the AM Project because it's arts and music education, but it's also teaching kids how to be DJs, and they learn a lot of other cool stuff along the way. And we're also talking to Jessica. Jessica, how do you say your name?
Beall.
Jessica Beall. Okay, so Jessica is a marketing assistant with Say See, and so which is an amazing arts program for kids. It's out of school time program, but provides like a lot of enrichment, and they work in lots of different media. So I'm really excited to talk about the AM Project and Say See. I also want to mention in the description of the video, you can click on a link and it'll take you to the blog post that has more details about AM Project, Say See, children's ballet, like other great arts organizations. So, well, yeah, let's dive in and learn more about the AM Project and Say See. Okay, so first I'm going to send it to Luis to talk about, if there's folks who haven't heard about the AM Project, like what is the mission and vision of the AM Project?
So again, thanks, Inga, for having me back on. This is fun, and I'd love to share the mission and, of course, meet these great people at Say See or be associated with them. So thanks. So our mission is to empower youth to explore their creativity through the use of our digital art and music programs, while instilling the values of and skills they can use in life and, of course, throughout school. We really nurture that creative mind of youth here in our community.
Thank you, Luis. Okay, so let me ask kind of the same question for Jessica. If you could talk about mission and vision of Say See.
Yeah, okay, so Say See, I mean, really our mission is kind of just like kind of igniting like the creative power of young people, similarly to Louis, and just kind of basically, trying to uplift like marginalized voices and trying to let like the creative youth of our city just kind of like let their creative flag fly and learn a bunch of things about artwork and selling artwork and how to be an artist. And yeah, super cool.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go back to the multiplayer format here. Okay, so I want to ask, this question is actually for both of y'all. So like this is a big theme in the blog post that Bonnie Osterhage wrote for us. Like I really want to encourage families to like think about like arts and arts enrichment and what it does for their kids, and like it's more than just like having some time to do coloring. Like that it really helps them like gain self-knowledge. It helps them get skills that they can use in school, in their work, in their life. So to kind of talk about those benefits of arts education. So let me send it to Luis first, and then to Jessica.
So I think the benefit of art education and being involved in any of these nonprofits, art nonprofits around town, is to really build that to help nurture that artist within somebody, and also to help build those social and soft skills. Build confidence, being able to express themselves, and I think we're in a different kind of different time, and during the last couple of years, things have I think changed for a lot of our youth. Some kids got lost, some kids got distracted, and I think with our type of programs, along with, of course, AC, it helps them get back on track. It helps. I think it helps kids think differently, solve problems differently, and again, express themselves. You never want to not express yourself. You want to, share your thoughts, your passion, your vision. And I think a lot of these kids, are incredibly talented. From fine arts to dance to music to creative writing, and that's what we kind of help them do.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Let me get Jessica up on screen. So same question. Like, what are those extra benefits as far as like self-knowledge and like skills that kids can use just in beyond just the arts program?
Yeah, I mean, similar to Lewis, I actually personally was an alumni to the program, so I can speak off of personal experience. You know, it really was a great way of learning kind of like who I am as a person and how do I express myself and how do I feel confident in expressing myself. Like additionally, there's something really cool that we do at SAC usually annually, and it's this thing called like stories seldom told. And so all the students will get together and they'll mix programs. So someone in visual arts might be in the theater program, and you kind of get to talk about like taboo topics that most people normally wouldn't want to talk about, especially with like children. So it's a really cool way of kind of finding your voice. And on top of that is that it's also like a great way to build community. I think too, like especially being on the west side, like we really focus on like uniting everyone together and making sure like, hey, you're finding yourself, but you're also finding like where you fit into this like crazy world that we live in. So yeah, I think it's just a great way to find yourself, be confident in yourself, and find your peeps, find your crowd of people that are similar to you and understand you.
Yeah, Jessica, I want to highlight something you said that ties back to what Lewis said about. Well, Lewis mentioned that like what kids have gone through the past few years and feeling isolated or disconnected, not having opportunities to stretch themselves, express themselves. And you talked about the stories seldom told as a format like within CC where students they're sharing and they're doing community building, and that's really important. And we need more of that. That's one reason why SHR Moms is highlighting enrichment. And like last week it was STEM, next week's gonna be outdoors, right? So it's lots of different flavors, but but like every kid needs to find like their place where they feel like they can be themselves.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask, while I have Jessica up on screen, so this is a question for both of y'all, but we'll start with Jessica this time. Like both of you mentioned that it's important for kids to have ways to express themselves and be creative, and that like when they're in school, there can be a lot of like following the curriculum and being prepared for standardized tests and stuff. But but kids need an opportunity to express themselves. So like based on what happens at SAC, like what you experienced as an alumna, like what are some examples of how CC encourages kids to be expressive and creative?
Well, I think like the one thing is, usually when it comes to, we'll kind of get like prompts per each, show that we're gonna be doing or exhibition or what have you. And, they'll kind of give us like guidelines to follow, but it's kind of up to you. And that was like the coolest part of getting to SAC. Like my first project, it was called Focus on the Form, right? So it's just a bunch of sculpting, and it was kind of like whatever you wanted as long as you focused on the form. So I got to like do woodworking and like ask about that, and they were like, yeah, go for it, like that's awesome. And so I think they kind of give you like enough independence that you learn to like make those decisions, but they're also there to like guide you when you need help with like the crazy woodworking or welding or whatever it is that you're doing. So they really kind of give you that space to not just fail, because you are going to make mistakes and stuff, but they kind of give you that opportunity to like learn from your mistakes and figure out what works best. And so I think that's the best part of letting someone have that creative outlet, is just allowing you to figure it out, see how it goes, and then rewrite it or redo it if you need to.
Yeah, that's a theme I hear from educators a lot, is the idea of resilience, that you have to give kids room to make mistakes and then to be like, that didn't turn out how I expected. That's okay. I'm going to get back out there and try again.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, now I'm going to turn that question to Lewis. And Lewis, you've talked about resilience and about kids realizing like what they need to put into it to be prepared. Like whether it's learning their songs so they can do beat matching and all those, like there's work that goes into it being detailed, but but it is about giving them that room to be creative and express themselves.
Yeah, I think with our programs and the approach that we take, we lay out a path. First and foremost, we want to want to jump into digital music. It's fun, it's cool. I want to be part of this, and we camouflage it with this fun, creative program. But with us, it's we're working behind the scenes for social learning. Social emotional learning. We're doing soft skills, helping them understand, the responsibility to be able to do something and complete something, working as a team, them actually understanding and seeing and experiencing the entrepreneur component of a program. And so we take kids as young as 7, all the way up, and we walk them through this path of, thinking a little different, creative, creating something performing, sharing, and for kids that and some of our students that we feel that it's their time, they become part of our youth program, our youth and structure program, leadership, and so they become the teachers as well. And we have a few, on our staff. Matter of fact, they taught this past summer at some of our camps, and it's so rewarding to see these kids where we started. For example, one, we have DJ Ango, and we started, I think he was 7 or 8, and he's going to, I think it's Braunfels High School. He's a freshman. Wow. But he taught classes, our camps this year. Amazing, made money, but to be able to do that, you have to come prepared. You have to know the curriculum. You need to know and how to work with kids. So I think with what we do in the arts and how we take them through a path, it's beneficial for them. It's a different type of learning, I think.
Yeah. Well, Luz, while I have you up on the big screen, let me ask you, so you mentioned about camps. You mentioned I know there's like the private lessons. There's also like the the group of kind of working DJs, right? Which
right.
Like school discovery days at SA Tour Moms. Like we've had young DJs from the AM Project, making the music at our events. So I was wondering, can you give people kind of an overview of what the programs are? And you mentioned that as young as 7, they can start enrolling in classes.
So most of our our offerings that we have here at the AM Project is digital music, and which is our DJing 101 to intermediate to advanced. We have music production, beginner, intermediate to advanced. Depending on where we are with a partner and resources and what they need, is we bring in a complementary component where it could be a creative writing component with creating music in a set, an art piece that creating music with a set, telling stories. That's what music does. And so our programs began in 2015 as really focusing on DJ. Now we are an arts integrated curriculum, programming that we are looking right now. We have, I think we will be working with a couple of charter schools going into their fall and spring semester, doing art integrated programming with their traditional learning. But here on location at our studio on McCullough Mistletoe, we do we're doing some private small classes. We cap out at 5. We don't have a ton of space because most of our programs are done on site.
Yeah. Well, no, it's so exciting. Yeah, I've seen the equipment that you have. It's great, and I know the summer you had a lot of camps, and one of them, even the one with Ava's Heroes, it was with people with developmental disabilities. Yeah,
that was a vision that a camp that I wanted to do. Was close and dear to my heart, and it was funny because when I was talking to Jennifer, their one of their marketing people, I usually go in focused with all our kids and say, okay, so at the end of this camp, I need to know if the parents, saw the value, the kids saw the value, and our partners, I want them to critique me. With It Was Heroes, it was a little different. I had to relax my expectations and my metrics, and we went with the flow. It was what was happening that day, and it helped me step out and step back and really let things happen. And that was probably one of my most rewarding camps. And we actually just picked up a private student from that camp, so he'll be coming in in the next couple of weeks. So it was a fun camp.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so I'm going to put Jessica up on screen and ask kind of the same question. I've been to SAC, but not at the new facility yet. I went to back when it was in Southtown, but I was so impressed with okay, this is the theater zone, and this is visual arts and sculpture, and then I've met is it Stefan is the digital arts guy. They do amazing things. So I think people may not know the whole range of media that students can experience at SAC. So if you could talk about the different programs, what families can do there, what kids can do there.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, we do middle and high school age students. So if your kid is in middle and high school, they're totally eligible. And yeah, so like Inga was saying, we have 4 different sort of programs that we currently have. So we have visual arts, which is like your traditional arts, painting, sculpting, woodworking, mosaics, all that kind of stuff. And then we have media, which is the Moss Studio, and that can be anything from like photography editing to like video editing. Every year they make like a movie and they show it at like a theater, which is super cool because the script is written by the student and it's directed by the student and it's shot by the student and edited. And so that's always super fun. And then, yeah, like you were saying, we have Hive, which is kind of like called the new media studio. And I mean, they do everything. Like they do like video game design, they do like digital comics, they do like interactive, like installations where you go in and they'll do like a sound bath or something. So that one has like free range. There's so much stuff that they do there. And then of course we have theater, and so that's acting, singing, and things like that, improv, jokes. We had like a Sacy Night Live like 2 years ago, and that was super funny. So yeah, that's what we have now. I do know in the future we are planning on expanding on more, but I will keep that hush hush for now. Just a little hint.
Okay, we'll see. Go sign up for the newsletter, right? Get the updates.
Yes,
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
have the link for the newsletter. If you want, I can put it in the chat or something. Maybe if anyone is interested in that.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and drop that in the chat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. It's amazing what kids can do. The sense I get too from like when I have visited and from talking to you is that like so much of it, like there's a prompt and there's support and guidance, but so much of the direction is student driven. And it means that the students are fearless about dealing with controversial topics that adults might be like, well, I don't know. Teens are like, bring it.
Yeah, and actually, I forgot to mention that the middle school students, so of course they are led by the staff, but they are also led by high schoolers. And so, as a high schooler, you get to apply to be a mentor, and you come in, you have a job, and you come in every Saturday. It's different days now. It's like Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, Thursday now because of COVID schedule and everything. But it used to be Saturdays, and you would go in and you teach the middle schoolers, anything from like how to sell a piece, how to paint something, how to just feel confident, have someone to who you can trust and rely on, that's not quite, up there in an adult, just like that middle bridge. So yeah, it's super. I really appreciated even being there, like how student driven everything is.
Yeah. Well, and like you, there are alumni who, came up through the program and then come back and work it, right? And like, Lewis talked about like, students who came in as beginner DJs and then now they're teaching at camps that, it's giving kids these like this scaffolding or this stair step towards more responsibility and more independence. Like you're not just throwing them out there in the world. They've got some training and some background. They've got people they can lean on. But it's also showing them like, hey, we have confidence in you. You can take on this more responsibility. You can be a leader and a role model for the younger students.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Let me put Lewis back on screen. This is I always like to have like the storytelling part, right? And Lewis is an ad guy, so he gets it, right? So, but like, and I know you shared some of these, when we talked last month, but examples of students who, like, right, like I'm trying to make the case for like why arts enrichment, like why families should make a little special effort, maybe get out of their pandemic shell and, get back out in the world, get your kids involved in stuff because it can have all these benefits for them, like of the creativity, the self-expression, the independence, these like life skills that they have to take with them to school and beyond. So yeah, can you share a story about AM Project students and what this has done for them?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, getting back out, that shell and experiencing and the benefits and of being an artist or doing a program again. So we are back to being in our small group classes during for I swear the last 2.5 years we were one-on-one. So you come to our studio. Luckily we had the ability to do that, but it's in our camps we just see these kids, they build off each other. They love that that social component of it's competitiveness, it's a creative synergy to be able to develop something and get that feedback just by even facial expressions. And so we just in May we went back to small group classes. Again, we're small, so we're at 5. And when we're, we require masks when we're here in our 5 group. Just because our space is a little smaller, we're actually moving our classes up to the first floor, which will open it up, and then will be optional. But we've over the years, I've seen these kids just blossom from kids that have been on the spectrum, that were not confident, that were introverts. They come here, they experience music. They work with instructors that we look a little different. I mean, we're tattoo weirdos, right? I'm sure Stacey has a bunch of those too. But
Yeah.
they're learning from
Yeah, you see
artists.
Stefan's hair. Yeah.
And so these kids, we bring them out of the shell. We encourage them. They start to create something. They listen. We want them to get loud, and we see that confidence build. We see that spark. We see their their vision of, I really like this. I really want to do this. Even and it's I think confidence is one of the biggest you know um, things I've seen that kids just build from. And it's not easy getting in front of an audience and performing. It's not easy creating something and for your peers. It's not easy taking sometimes some critiques and, hey, do this. But these kids are amazing. They're the little sponges, and a lot of our kids just continue to grow, move on to different components in digital music, in composition and music production, and again, even leadership. One of my favorite stories is we were in a camp, and we had a young boy, and I was informed from my partners that that this young man was on the spectrum. Didn't teach him or didn't treat him any which indifferent. He was part of the class, but he actually created a costume for himself. So when he performed, so when he put this costume on, totally different kid. And you just saw him come alive. Another parent with another young adult or young kid on the spectrum came up to me and said, he would sit around. He just never really listened to music. Now I see him in the headphones and he's counting. He's trying to recognize what genre that is. And so, success stories like that of what we just see them do different things and put down the iPad and gaming and create something. So I think that's and I have a million stories, but I'm not going to take all the time. But I myself, and I know my instructors and our board, just we love to see that the growth of these youth going through programming.
Yeah. So like if there's families who are thinking, well, where is my kid going to find their tribe? Like where maybe they don't fit in with the sort of typical
Right.
lanes at school, right? And then
Yeah.
music is something that's so universal and so deep, and and it uses different parts of their brain. So maybe yeah, you see kids blossom who maybe like weren't the center of attention somewhere else, but they can learn that confidence and put in the time, learn and then they're the one bringing joy to a whole room full of people through
Yeah.
what they're spinning on the turntable.
And you're right. So arts is interpretive, right? It's not wrong, it's not right, or it's what you see and what you appreciate, right? And with music and fine arts and dance, and we want these youth in our community just to create. I mean, that's really what it is create and experience something new, because art just builds. It just builds on their helps them build those soft skills.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put Jessica up on screen. Same type question. We want to hear stories, about students able to express themselves and find themselves and find their tribe, and find how they can be different, but they're still contributing.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll just add on like just my personal story too. Like I was totally that kid that was super shy. I did not want to like talk too much about myself or to other people, make my presence known. I moved a lot. So, you're kind of used to just showing up, being there, and then being like, okay, bye. But my mom, I think she recognized that like I was a creative person and I just didn't really know like how to kind of let that out. And yeah, joining CC like totally made me so much more confident and like ready to take on the world and present myself, because like Lewis was saying, it is super hard. And, you know, it's kind of, you have to let yourself be vulnerable to, you know, put out these pieces of art, whether it's, you know, like a portrait of someone you know, or just like a piece that's just so deep to your soul, you know, kind of bearing who you are. And I think that CC really helped me with that personally. But I mean, I see it all the time. Like, you have kids that, yeah, like so I was a mentor when I was in high school, and some of the kids that I mentored in middle school graduated this year. And so I got to see them, you know, when they were tiny in middle school and just really shy and like don't really know like what to say. And then they're giving these presentations and they're just so like strong and bold, like even probably like bolder than I could be, you know, like it's just so impressive and sweet. And it's really nice to see that change in people, because they really kind of find who they are in their voice. And, you know, they get their friends too. Like we have Monday meetings every Monday, and, you know, we always open it up and we'll be like, you know, like, do kids haven't, you guys have anything to say? Is there anything you want to share? And like some kids give like total life updates that are crazy. And it just shows that like they feel so comfortable with everybody there, you know, like it might not specifically pertain to the project they're working on, but they just want us to know. And yeah, like it's just really nice, like just seeing that transformation of them starting to come into themselves and being happy with that.
And Jessica, when you went to college, so you went to University of Incarnate Word and you studied graphic design. So did your experience at SAC, like, you feel like it helped you prepare for college and be, you know, more like have a more of a sense of what your purpose was when you were in college?
Definitely. I think a big thing actually, especially when it comes to being creative, is doing those critiques. I noticed that it's a challenge for a lot of people, even, you know, not even creative, just in general, to it's kind of hard to hear like a critique that might not be so positive and not take it personally, or, you know, something like that. And so I definitely felt prepared in that sense. And I kind of noticed some of my peers maybe weren't as ready for that. But I think too, just with, you know, presenting art and kind of feeling comfortable talking about art and expressing yourself, I definitely felt a bit more prepared than I think I would have been without. Now, I did start actually as a visual arts major in college, but I kind of knew about graphic design and SAC, and it always like piqued my interest. But I was just so into like the painting and the traditional aspect of art that I just didn't even really like give it that much attention. And so I do think that did impact like my future decision. Once I saw other graphic designers at UIW, I was like, oh, they would do kind of stuff like this at SAC. That I like that. And then, I mean, yeah, I mean, honestly, without SAC, I don't even know. I could possibly not even have had a creative job. Like, you know, I have no idea where life would have taken me. So I'll always be grateful for that. And I hear people like, you know, people I went to SAC with say stuff like that all the time. Like SAC saved me, or SAC taught me how to like be me, or what I wanted to do with my life. So it's definitely
Yeah,
super.
You might.
that's really compelling. Yeah, go ahead, Lou.
So my story was AC. So when I opened up my agency in 2001,
Mhm.
my intern was his name is David Cadero. And David Cadero is a CC alumni. I think he went to Chicago. I think he graduated from Chicago School of Art, and he's a professor up there somewhere. But he was just out of the program, and one of my favorite interns. But that's a million years ago. And he's an incredible artist. Him and his buddy at the time, Gabe Garcia, another alumni of CC.
Nice. I love that.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's crazy that there's so many alumni everywhere throughout the community doing, you know, mural art or teaching, and it's really cool. Like you'll just bump into someone, they're like, "Oh, I went to SAC," and you're like, "Oh, hey, me too."
Yeah, so Stacey goes back to 1994, right? Which
Yeah.
that's throwing it way back. Yeah.
Three location changes. The original one, I mean that was before me, so I don't know where it was, but I know that like you said, the one before we moved to the West Side location was right there off the Blue Star Arts Complex.
Yep.
And it's just crazy to see like how much it's transformed and grown over the years. You know, it started off with like I think one class of people, and they just did visual arts, and it was like 20 people, and now there are middle schoolers, high schoolers, theater, media. It's really awesome and exciting.
Yeah. Sometimes I hear origin stories about charter schools, about how like they like, so for example, Idea Public Schools actually, which has like now like tens of thousands of students across the US. But they started as an after school program in the Rio Grande Valley. So, you know, so you
Wow.
never know like where something will
Yeah,
start and
you never know.
what it will grow into. Yeah.
The
Lots
power
of
of
potential.
creativity.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and also of that entrepreneurial spirit, and I think it's important to recognize that artists can be entrepreneurs too, and like that urge to create, and like they just need like a little extra, those extra like business skills, or like you mentioned, Jessica, like learning how to sell a piece of art, like like Lewis, like they teach kids like how to do a gig, like you have to show up on
Right.
time, you have to be prepared, and you have to work with your client, but it's great experience for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, this has been amazing. I always close out by making sure that folks know how to get in touch with the AM Project and with SAC. So let's start with the AM Project. I've got my little banners ready. So Lewis, what are the best ways for folks to connect with the AM Project? Whether it's they want like the 5-person classes, or they want to hire a DJ for their event, or
Absolutely.
maybe they're a school and they want to set up a program through the AM Project on their site.
So you can, anybody could go to the amproject.org or email me, Lewis, Luis, at the amproject.org, or the info at the amproject.org. We also have a form again on the website that for inquiries that, for gigs, for programming, for partners, and how we can support anyone out there.
Yeah. Okay, great. And then okay, Jessica, tell me more about how folks can reach out to SACI. So if it's they want their student to enroll, or maybe they're looking for a partnership, or they want to come to learn more about SAC events, and come to a performance or see a gallery showing.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. So recruitment, we actually just finished this thing of recruitment, but don't worry, we have recruitment at least twice a year, every year. And also, just additionally, if you do apply and then for whatever reason you don't get in, you're allowed to keep applying. So I just want to stress that. But we probably will have applications again in the winter. So I'd keep an eye out on for that. But to keep an eye out for that, you'll probably look at our website, sac.org. You can follow us on Instagram or Facebook. That'll be SAC_SA, or just simply SAC on Facebook. And like Inga mentioned, we also have a newsletter that we send out, and you can sign up for that. It's a super long link, but if you just want to go on the website, it's all the way at the bottom. It's like
Okay, I found this on the website. So this is like the tiny link. So it's eepurl.com, and then capital R, capital M, lowercase p, big E, little n. Anyway, for the people on the podcast, that I just spelled it out. But yeah, and then like if you go to the blog post, it's got links to folks can find find SAC, find the AM Project, and other great arts organizations that Bonnie talked to as she was putting together the post. So like Children's Ballet, and like there's Green Spaces Alliance has a photography project. I mean, there's so much stuff out there, and it's about like helping kids find their tribe, right? So yeah, like at SAC, if they want to do visual arts, there's that. If they want to go really outside the box and do all the digital stuff, there's that. I know like for Lewis, like there's kids with all kinds of musical tastes. Like some of them are really into the electronic dance music, and some like have lots of oldies, like 80s music, and just all kinds of music.
We're gonna do an event in next weekend on the 27th, Pigskin Classic with KSAT 12 at the Alamo Dome, like 6 high schools, right? And so we're having to train our kids to think a little different for that event, because it's football games, right? And you can't play EDM or dubstep, so they're preparing the next 2 weeks to be able to be an Alamo Dome DJ. So
right. Wow, talk about a big stage.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous though, but don't tell any of them.
Well, this has been great. I feel super inspired. I hope that families tuning into this, or maybe teenagers, are excited about like, yeah, I can branch out. I can, leave my pandemic bubble and, experiment and, find my tribe, express myself, and along the way, learn some skills that will help you for the future. So Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Inga. Good to meet you, Jessica.
You too. Happy to be here.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, y'all.